Hello, tubers. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. And thank you for coming on and watching Coopersthaiadventure with myself and my good buddy and sidekick, Mr. Brooke Schneider.
Trusty sidekick.
Trusty sidekick. Yeah, always turns up on a Monday, plays hooky on a Saturday. So, yeah, we had Darlene on here, my wife, on Saturday's live stream. Brooke said, Coop, can I play hooky? And then he told everybody at the pool yesterday, Cooper fired me. No, you voluntarily resigned and then reinstated yourself for Monday.
Correct.
So today we're going to be talking about a couple subjects. One is about the yield max ETF funds. Which one is best for you? And then also this week on Friday, MSTY pays its dividends. And the price predictions going into that, what we're hearing and what we think is going to be paid out this week. And I'd love to hear your predictions. Let us know in the comments down below. What do you think MSTY is going to pay out on Friday this week? They're going to announce the dividend payment on Wednesday, payment on Friday. And then also on Saturday's live stream, one of our subscribers said, hey, Coop, can you touch on Monday's live stream for Money Matters about people holding their own keys in crypto and other people finding out that they've got quite a lot of money and they're getting kidnapped, robbed, and stolen of their cryptocurrencies, forced to give up their keys, or serious harm or even death. And that is something that everybody needs to consider. Me and Brooke and several of our subscribers that we know do not have our own keys. We invest into the ETFs, and we all have our own reasons in doing it. Several of our subscribers swear by having their own keys, but there is inherent risk involved. You can easily, come under hacking. Somebody can hack your keys. It's happened many times in the last year. We've seen on the news that even big corporations lose lots of cryptocurrency. Bitcoin was one big one, and then Ethereum and Solana all lost quite a lot of coins this year due to hackers. So even here in Thailand, folks, people go out to the lady bars and they'll say to the girls, oh yeah, I'm retired in Thailand, or I'm visiting Thailand, whatever the case may be. And by the way, I'm rich. I've got big bags of crypto. Believe me, these girls are going to let their friends know, and you are a prime target. So the golden rule we have is don't let anybody know how much crypto that you have. Don't talk about it outside of the group. If you're out and about, don't tell random people, hey, I'm a millionaire in crypto. You're making yourself a prime target, and somebody's going to want to kidnap you and force you, physically force you to take your keys away from you.
That can happen anywhere on the planet. I mean, and it doesn't necessarily just refer to Thailand.
No, it happens all over the world. And there was a big case about it recently in New York, where a crypto millionaire got kidnapped and forced to give up their keys. And this has happened in Europe. I've heard about it. All over it happens. So
it did happen in Thailand. I think it was a Chinese guy that got kidnapped.
Yes, he did.
And, I think by foreigners.
Yeah.
And, had been bragging about how much Bitcoin he probably owned.
Mm.
And hey, there you go. So as far as the hacks go, it's usually an inside job if it's institutions, not protecting their keys, let's say. As an individual, you'd have to basically give up your keys if you wanted to get to lose it. But some people, they just make mistakes when they key punch stuff to move coins or move things. And that's probably the majority of where they lose, because once it's gone, it's gone. You ain't getting it back.
No.
The other issue with self-custody, guys, is what happens to you and your coins should something, dire happen? You get in a car accident. It's not, no one plans on that, but if you're get brain damage, head trauma, and you forget the keys or whatever, even worse, pass away, what happens? Well, they're gone. They're gone forever. They figure about 5 million of the 21 million coins now will never be seen again.
And Bitcoin.
In Bitcoin that we're talking, yeah. Gone. So gone forever. So,
and look at that poor guy in England. He had it all on his hard drive, and then his computer got thrown away in the dump
by his wife.
And all of a sudden, that's it. He's lost all his crypto holdings, and
hundreds of millions
of dollars. And I think he was given a reward of like $5 million to anybody that found it. And they've been all through that dump and never found it.
The reason people would like to self-custody is for privacy, I believe. And, they've got the idea maybe that they will take the funds or the coins and move somewhere where it's more of a friendly environment to, should they ever decide to sell. But for the most part, most people, in my opinion, are better wanting to own Bitcoin. Forget the, cold wallets, just go with the ETFs. It's regulated. You don't have to worry, as you mentioned earlier, about kidnapping. You don't have to worry about losing your key phrases, that is, guys. And it's a simpler way to do it. Now that you are tracked that way, but hopefully there'll be generous tax savings in the jurisdiction you live in, and go on with it. So
yeah. And then also we've been asked to do a comparison between MSTY and PLTY.
Okay.
And so we've done our research, and Brooke is going to kick it off and tell you what he's found out. He said he'd done some research yesterday. There he gets that surprise look.
Oh, okay.
And how's it looking between the two?
Okay, well, PLTY is PLTY, and it's based on the volatility, similar to a MSTY as far as the trading on Palantir. And Palantir is a software company, basically. They are big with the U.S. government, huge, and they've had, pretty good returns because of that. From the research, limited amount I did do, they're branching now into big corporations, also into AI. How can, companies be helped with, say, implementing their software, Palantir software, into their company to make better use of AI. So overall, though, it's a software company, and that means it's code.
Yes.
Anybody can kind of enter that market. So you and I are big on Tesla. I recommend Tesla. It's sure anybody can maybe decide to start making cars. Good luck getting to scale, making money. Where Tesla kind of has built a moat around themselves. BYD, you forget it. You know what I mean? They are not going to be able to. They're not as advanced as Tesla. So people will say, "Oh well, they're the Tesla killer. Forget it. Good luck." So comparing the two, Palantir to me is a company that could, get a lot of competition going forward. But let's forget all that. How are they paying?
Right.
Well, they're paying not bad. The volatility is high, not as high though as MSTY, as MicroStrategy. So I think going forward, you'll see probably volatility on both will be elevated. But for me, because it's Bitcoin backed, I know where Bitcoin's going. It's limited. Palantir, okay, they're a software company, write more code. Anybody can maybe write code. So we'll see where that goes. But I'm not saying it's a bad investment. Like, the returns are not too bad. The management fees are similar on both. I think if you look at the historical returns on both, Coop, you'll find that MSTY is as good or better. So I think just going forward, for me, it's not my cup of tea. I've done my research on Bitcoin, then on MicroStrategy, and then on MSTY. So I'm okay with that part of the bag. But yeah, anyways, I know people that own Palantir. They're happy with it. I know people that own PLTY. They're happy with it. So maybe as part of a diversified bag, you might, put some in both. That's obviously not a bad idea, I suppose. But for myself, it's not for me right now. But anyways.
Well, here's my thoughts on it, and I've looked into both as well. PLTY, to me, feels like it's oversold. The share price is way up. It's at $60 a share, which gives me cause for concern, because when it's that high up, it's only got one way to go.
Higher?
Nope. It's going to go down. Just like MSTY when it was in the 40s. Now it's dropped down to the very low 20s, $21.55 a share. And I think MSTY is sort of at the bottom now. And the only way for MSTY is to go up now. And I see MSTY has a correlation with MicroStrategy. And we spoke about this yesterday. Excuse me. And the correlation is between 68%, 68.9, so we'll call it 69%, and 75.8%. We'll say 75%. Okay, so we'll say 70 is 75. Keep the math easy. Last year, it correlated to MicroStrategy price. MicroStrategy went up or down. It was within that 70% range that MSTY followed, to the up and downside. So this year, it's closer to the 75.8%, 75.9%. So it is moving up against MicroStrategy, MSTY. So now when MicroStrategy goes up 1%, MSTY will go up 0.75%. And MSTY, over the last couple of weeks, on several occasions, has even gone up and down more than MicroStrategy, which is a plus, super plus there. And we were speaking out yesterday of future forecasts for Bitcoin. We see Bitcoin this year hitting 200,000 feasibly. It's a very, very good opportunity for Bitcoin with everybody that's getting into it, the sovereign wealth funds, the individual states in the U.S., the U.S. government going to be announcing this month how they're going to be buying Bitcoin without costing the taxpayers any money. So all that is fantastic news and coming out. Pakistan just said, we're starting a strategic Bitcoin reserve. So countries,
guess what India is going to do?
Follow suit.
You got her.
So a lot of countries are now coming out of the woodworks and saying, yeah, we're going to get into it too. If USA does it, we have to do it. And so we're looking at Bitcoin and Bitcoin hitting 200,000 this year. It's not very far-fetched, folks. And what would happen to the price of MicroStrategy and the price of MSTY? Well, MicroStrategy is a play on Bitcoin, and therefore often outperforms it on a bull run. So when Bitcoin goes up, say, 2x from where it is now, 100,000, it goes to 200,000. Where would MicroStrategy be? Probably 2.5.
Yeah,
would be a safe estimate. Now, so MicroStrategy goes up 2.5%, a 2.5x. What's going to happen to MSTY? Well, MSTY, if it stays at the 75% correlation it is right now, and we'll take the lower estimate, and I said, let's go down to 66% instead of 0.75%, 75% of MicroStrategy. That would put MSTY above $40 a share. And Brooke said, no way, that's not going to happen. So I put my money where my mouth is. And I said to Brooke, I said, I will bet you a steak dinner that MSTY this year, before New Year, before January the 1st, will hit $40 a share or more.
I'm ordering the biggest steak on the menu.
And I'm ordering the tomahawk. Tomahawk, because I think I'm going to win. And anyways, that's where we are. Let's get started in today's show and see who we got online.
Blakester Drums, morning, gents, and to the CTA gang, let's make some money today.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And thank you for being a channel member. And I want to say thank you to all our channel members. And I want to say thank you to all our subscribers. We hit a milestone on this channel. On our last Money Matters Monday last week, we had 1,000 views.
Wow, that's coming.
So that is fantastic, because when we started with Money Matters, it was like 200-300.
Yeah, low hundreds.
You know, and now, you know, we're sort of
into the
4x it, and we are at 1,000 views. So thank you, everybody that's watched on the live stream and on the replay. Much appreciated.
Richard Duger, Bubba, that name rings a bell. With 100 likes today, Cooper said Darlene can put makeup on him on live TV next Monday.
No,
Bubba's
not
a
gonna
pretty
happen.
good dreamer, isn't he?
I know, he's a kidder.
Ty Bob, morning. Let's get this party started.
Sounds like a plan, Bob.
Tony Montana, good morning, Coop, Darlene, Brooke, and Jackie, and all the gang watching. Hope all is well.
And we are. Thank you, Tony.
Bubba again. Money Matters Monday. Cooper and Brooke can buy everyone meals next meet and greet with only 20 likes and hit the thumbs up button, guys. Bubba keeps hoping.
I know.
Nomad Jack, good morning, CBD gang. Let's make some money today.
And thank you, Jack, for being a channel member. Yeah, I want to know what you guys are thinking is going to happen to the MSTY shares dividend payout this Friday.
Yeah, payments Friday. The X date is
Wednesday.
Wednesday, the declaration date.
Mm-hmm.
I think Thursday is the X date. So you could still buy it today, you know, and be eligible for the dividend, just a heads up. Richard Bubba says, I think MSTY is going to pay between 130 and 150 a share.
I'm thinking somewhere between there. Also, Richard, and the reason why is they had 2 bad weeks to the month and then 2 good weeks. Well, 2 better weeks. And anyways, right now, they're at like $1.11 a share to $1.20 a share. And yes, they did hold some back last month. Okay, they could have paid out $4.15. Instead, they paid out $2.37. So they held back $1.80. And for rainy day fund, I like to call it. So they could use that 80 cents or $1 and boost it up, or 50 cents to get it to that, you know, 150 mark. I say anything 130 and above is a plus in my book. And that's my prediction. I'm sticking with it. I think it's going to be 130 to 150. What say you, Mr. Schneider?
150 to $2.
Oh, he's lowered his prediction.
Well, you know, you have more data. Okay. They did have a good week last week, by the way.
Yes.
And part of it is, sure, they've sandbagged, so they got money in the kitty, which, you know, for a rainy day fund, call it. But MSTY has taken off. Okay. It's now at 4 billion, I believe, the market cap. So, you know, a few weeks ago it was 3. So it's grown tremendously. And these guys see that. And okay, they want things to grow, and the way to do that is keep your dividends up. And now, I mean, yeah, financially, it's prudent advice if they do the $1.30 to $1.50. But if they want to really start pulling in more money into that fund, you put out a $2 dividend this time. Shit, people are saying, holy Christ, that's 10%
exactly
in a month, right? So you know, that's the case for a higher one. Honestly, it'll probably be less than that, you know, 150 to $2, as I said. So maybe $1.75 would be good, still profitable. But regardless of what it is, even at the low end of $1.30, you know, you're about 60% return on your money. Actually, more than that. Sorry, you're 12 payments. You're like $15 on a $20 fund. So, you know, you're 75% return on your money. You ain't getting that anywhere else.
No.
So, I mean, you know, we talked about what's the low, you know, at $1 a share. Oh my God, people would panic. At $1 a share, $12 a year on a $20 stock, or even $25 stock, you know, you're 50 to 70% return on your money.
Exactly.
You ain't getting that in GICs. So, the way to look at it, guys, MSTY will supplement your income. It's not a growth stock. So Coop thinks, yeah, it might hit $40. I don't. I think it'll pay a regular check every month, don't worry. And I tell people, hey, don't focus necessarily on the share price.
Mm.
You got to look at it whether you're going to reinvest or not reinvest. Just say, hey, I want my money every month.
Mm.
It's maybe a help with supplement your living. But your growth stocks, that's not this. Your growth stocks are going to be your MicroStrategy, your Bitcoin funds, your Teslas, maybe Palantirs. You let that money grow. You know what I mean? It's not giving you a living, mind you, in the meantime, but in 4 or 5 years, you're probably sitting pretty. Misty, on the other hand, that's, hey, I want my check every month. So getting a return even on those lower rates, Coop, in my opinion, is fantastic.
Oh, yes.
You're not going to get anywhere near that investing in other products, let's say.
No, nowhere near.
Now, the other thing I would say, guys, I've been following those weekly payers, but honestly, they're in the market less time when there's a weekly payer because they got to worry about paying the thing every Friday. The money can't be tied up. It's got to be sitting in the bank. So they're losing a lot of premium income by not having that money invested. It's sitting in the account waiting to get paid out. Sure, Misty does it, but that's only once a month. You know what I mean? So there's only a few days towards the end of the month that they don't have the money invested. With the other ones, the weekly payers, it's constantly. So I would be careful. As anything new like that, watch it. Just watch for a few months, see how it works out. I still think Misty's the way to go. The other one I'm starting to look at and doing more research is Tesla.
Tesla is looking good.
Yeah, its volatility is okay. Maybe not as good a payer as Misty currently, but I think so. I'm going to get a dividend coming up probably on Saturday. I'm going to look at the share price of Misty next week. And if it's low, I'll probably dollar cost average into it. If for some reason it starts to go up, maybe MicroStrategy takes off a bit, pulls it. I'd probably wait and maybe look at Tesla. You know what I mean? The Tesla one, sorry. So it's okay to be diversified too, guys.
So if Bitcoin does hypothetically go to 200,000, what would you put the share price of Misty at?
So you do a double on Bitcoin, MicroStrategy. I could see that doing a 2.5, maybe a 3x. There'll be a FOMO.
Yeah.
So you might hit a triple on that even, right? $1,000 a share, which would mean it would probably split 10 for 1 like it did,
previously.
And then Misty will somewhat be pulled with that again through the bit of the FOMO. The key with Misty, though, guys, is they're making money on volatility. And if Bitcoin doubles within 6 months, MicroStrategy does a 2.5 to 3x in 6 months, the volatility is probably going to go up. And that should indicate better returns.
Yeah.
Would I see it? Oh, yeah, you'll see a price rise on Misty. I'm just not sure we're going to see a double if Bitcoin doubles, is my point. But, you get up around $30. That's a pretty healthy return. And you're getting a check every month. So the question in a lot of people's mind is if it hits 30 or above, what do I do? If you're in at 20, you made 50% on your money in 6 months, maybe you might take a little bit off the table, but then your checks would be lower.
Yeah.
Interesting times we live in, Coop.
Very.
Tony Montana, I'm thinking about $2 there. Tony's he's an optimist.
A very good optimist.
Yeah, and it might very well be that, Tony. It's
they could do it. They could make it.
They throw a $2 dividend out. People are going to go ballistic because they're expecting a $1.10, $1.20, $1.30, $1.50, and they see that it'll pull even more people into the Misty fold.
Yes,
and I'm thinking that could be the reason these guys sitting at Yield Max saying, "Hey, let's just pay the $2." They got the money. It's sandbagged. It's sitting in their kitty. In fact, I think if they paid $2, they'd still have money left in the kitty and lots of it.
Yes, they would. They would. They would potentially have a dollar still left.
Bingo.
Per share from their balance sheet from last month's payout.
Yeah.
So they have $1.80 right now. They could use that 80 cents to boost it up to $2, and then still have over half for another rainy day.
Yeah. Now, regardless whether they pay it out or not, I mean, let's say it is a $1.30, $1.50. So they basically paid out what they made. They still got that big kitty sitting there. They have to pay out that kitty or at least declare it by the end of October, guys.
Correct.
And if you go back and look at the stats, October, November last year had huge payouts on Misty.
Over $4.
Over $4. Jesus, did they make all that money? No, they didn't make it in that month. It was a carry forward, and they're required by law. The good news, guys, you're a regulated company, so they're audited. They're, you know, you don't, geez, are they scams? No, they're not scams. Okay. But they have to pay it out by that date. So that's why that occurred. So, you know, 6 and 1, half dozen the other, you're going to get the money sooner or later.
It'd be fantastic, Tony, if they did pay too.
Yeah.
But I'm sort of sticking between that 130 to 150 price range. Anything above it would be a huge bonus.
I'd say the chances of that, Tony, are like less than 20%. 80% will be less than that, you know, either $1.75 or lower. Malcolm Hawkins, good morning, Team Coops. There's Malcolm.
Good morning, Mal. Thank you for coming on and joining us.
Our definitely gold bug. Jeff Sigler, hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. We are.
And we are, Jeff. Thank you. How you doing?
Roger Walker, good morning, good evening, everyone.
Good morning to you, Roger.
Roger the Dodger. Richard Woolley, hi, Coops and the Misty Mafia.
Yeah, that's us.
There's a bunch of us in the pool every day, the Misty Mafia. That's our new nickname.
We've been mystified.
Mystified, yeah.
Hello, Richard.
Happy with it. Blakester Drums. Misty's highest estimate I've seen is $1.51. Lowest 99 cents. Yep, they're all over the map, Blakester.
Yeah. I've watched a couple people on the estimates, and you're sort of in the ballpark there, Blakester. The highest I've seen is 175. But down at the pool yesterday, speaking to the guys, one of them had an update on his website saying Misty was going to pay 230.
Market Chameleon.
Market Chameleon is revised their prediction.
Yeah, it updates that prediction daily. And prior to that, it was 99 cents or 97 cents. And then overnight it flipped to the higher. But they had a good week. So maybe that's why.
They did have a very good week last week.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yep. Ken back. Good morning, Vietnam. I mean Thailand. Yes. Good morning, Vietnam.
And good morning to you, Ken. And thank you to all the channel members with their badge next to their name. Much appreciated.
Just my opinion. Hello.
Hello.
Live and learn with Mike. Good morning, DJ Cooper, Brooke, and Darlene.
Good morning, Mike.
Ernie Jones. There he is. Good morning, neighbors. Coop, Darlene, and Brooke.
Good morning to you, Ernie.
Ernie's getting to be a regular in the pool.
He is. He comes over every day now.
Mikey D. Let's go, Misty and Tesla. There you go. Mikey's diversified.
Yeah. I'm liking Tesla. Misty's my favorite by far, but I think a close runner-up is Tesla. And I see nothing but good things coming out this year from Tesla.
Yeah.
And with the robo-taxi coming out this month in Austin, we're only 2 weeks away from that launching.
Yep.
And then the robots, Optimus Robot, coming out in the end part of this year. I'm saying that Tesla's looking to buy between $500 and $600 a share by year end.
It has a good
somewhere
future.
Between there.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking there's going to be a lot of upside in Tesla, and maybe Tesla you might want to think about getting into now.
Well, Coop and I both believe, guys, that Bitcoin obviously is a big part of our core holdings, and Tesla came after Bitcoin for us. But and that's our AI play.
Yeah.
So those are the two big things going into the future is, hey, Bitcoin for the store of value, it's probably going to replace gold in the, market cap, let's say, and AI.
Yes.
Those are the two themes for the future. And you can play AI through Tesla with all the irons in the fire they have. The robots, the, self-driving cars, the battery pack storages. So that's our AI play. And I would definitely advise anyone, take a look, do your research. But hey, that's maybe you want to get in a little bit, on the offside, it does go to a 10 or 20x in share price.
Exactly.
Blakester Drums, MSTR tanking over the last couple weeks screwed us, especially in share price, unless you want to buy. Yeah, like for every buyer, there's a seller, so it's on sale. And the reason I think that's happened to a great extent, guys, is Michael Saylor has been ATMing like a son of a gun, meaning putting MicroStrategy shares on the market at the market price because it's at a premium to the price of Bitcoin. He takes that money, buys his Bitcoin every week. And some of the guys are ticked off, like Blakester probably, even some in the pool, but to me, I kind of said, hey guys, I'm happy he's doing it. He's buying Bitcoin on sale. So strategy, Saylor will end up with the most Bitcoin of any company other than iBit probably, but individual company.
I think he's going to overtake iBit at some
Yeah,
point.
might. And so when Bitcoin does rocket, and it will, look who the winner is going to be, and then you'll be wishing you had more MicroStrategy is my point. So.
Yeah. And he did post on X, there, Blakester, 13 hours ago. Orange is my preferred color with a dot on a bar graph chart.
Bought some more.
And that means he's bought some more. So he'll announce how much he bought when the stock market opens tonight.
Yeah.
So in Thai time, that is, USA time, early morning. So again, he is buying more shares, and this time he's doing the ATMs on the Stark side, which means it won't affect the share price.
It won't dilute the share price.
It won't dilute the share price.
Won't dilute the number of shares. Let's say.
Exactly, because he's not selling the common stock, which is MicroStrategy, to buy more Bitcoin. He's doing it on the preferred stock, which is Strike. So therefore, it's not going to dilute the shares, and that should make a lot of people, shareholders, very happy.
Yeah. Yep.
So there's going to be some fantastic upside coming to MicroStrategy soon, I think.
Yep. Yeah. No. Doug Paris, good morning, CTA, watching from Bangkok Hospital in Pattaya. Great way to start our first trip to Thailand. Oh, the poor guy's had an issue, I guess. Maybe he's in the hospital there. Good hospital to be in, though, guys.
Yeah, I hope you're okay, Doug.
Yep. Richard Woolley, that's because of the litigation. Nah, Richard, honestly, that's a nuisance lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
And watch James and Invest Answers. He's got a pretty good explanation of what this lawsuit and what he's seen in his life.
Mm-hmm.
And there's law firms that are strictly looking for these nuisance lawsuits to generate income. They'll find a guy that owns 9 shares, convince them, hey, we're going to sue this company, won't cost you a penny. You're going to get a check, hopefully, at the end. You know what I mean? And they, so yeah, it's, but no, it's a frivolous lawsuit. It's typical what I see from the States. They'll sue everybody on any reason because they think they're going to make some money.
Exactly. And it's all because somebody bought some shares in MicroStrategy and the price went down. Well, the price goes up and down. So does that mean MicroStrategy can sue you when the price goes up? No. And it's exactly what Brooke says it is. It's a frivolous lawsuit that I don't think is going to get anywhere. I think it's going to be kicked out of the courts because when you buy into the stock market, the prices go up as well as down. So you don't have the right to sue because you bought shares and the price goes down. Because if not, there'd be no companies in existence.
Most of these lawsuits get settled out of court. And the reason is it costs the companies more to fight it than just to pay the nuisance amount they want. You know what I mean? So you can either pay your lawyer or just pay the nuisance fee to get rid of these buggers. You know what I mean? And typically there'll be insurances that they can collect back on. So, that's part of it too, But yeah, it's a ridiculous thing. It's too bad. Now, Tesla has moved. Tesla, for example, they moved from Delaware, where they incorporated, into Texas because they had a nuisance lawsuit, I call it.
Yeah.
The one that denied Elon his pay package. Which at the time people were laughing. Well, they're never going to attain that. Well, he did, so he should be paid. But that prevents it. And I think then the guy had 9 shares of Tesla.
Yeah.
So you can't do that. In Texas, you have to have 3% of the company in order to file these, what I call nuisance suits. So prevents a lot of that garbage. Alpha Mayo, let's get the party started, Alpha.
And hello, Alpha.
Kay Thang, good morning, Team Cooper and Brooke. Last time you mentioned Mr. Singh, great guy. Is this gentleman a travel agent or attorney working in Bangkok? No, he's in Jomtien.
Yeah.
Pattaya, actually.
He is a immigration agent. And he's able to get people visas here in Thailand, retirement visas, education visas, and all different types of visas here in Thailand, and we've used them, and we highly recommend him. He's also a very good friend of ours.
Yeah.
And we get nothing in return for recommending him. We
don't even get a discount.
Don't even get a discount.
Jeez, I
You're
tried
absolutely
working
right.
that guy. I couldn't get 10 cents off him.
But what I do, why I do recommend him is because he's simply the best.
Yeah.
And if I see a company out there, an individual, a store, a restaurant that's, you know, goes above and beyond, then I don't mind recommending them on my channel and saying, you know what, these guys are good. Just like El Gaucho, we highly recommend the steakhouse El Gaucho. Half Price Tuesday, which will be going this Tuesday for half price steak, because the steak is simply fantastic. I don't even know the owner of El Gaucho. I've never met the man or woman that owns it. I love it, so therefore I talk about it. Route 66, another one of our favorites.
Yeah.
You know,
which we're going today.
Taco House, another one of our favorites. You know, there's so many of our favorites out here that we love, and we tell you because we love them. Not because we get anything back from them, which we don't. We get zero from everybody that we recommend.
One point on Sing. So we got our retirement visas, actually not through Sing when we first got here.
Yes.
But then we wanted to put our wives onto, I wanted to put she was fiance at the time, onto and went back to the agent. They didn't have, no, we don't do that. We didn't have a clue.
You have to go back to your home country is what we were told.
Yeah, like, hello. And I said, you know, well, Singh was the only guy, and I was on a phone call. Oh, yeah, we can handle that. Oh, yeah, we can handle that. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, we can do that. How? You know, and he told me. And I said to Coop after I got, we got to go see this guy. Yeah. Apparently he can do this. I don't know. You know, when you face to face, you get a better feel. Hey, is this guy? Well, you know, he speaks multilingual languages. Like he speaks fluent Thai, fluent English. After like 15 minutes with this guy, oh yeah, he knows his shit. And he's very well connected, knows, you know, so if you've got those cases where, you know, maybe it's a specific case to you, he's the guy I would say check for advice.
And the aftercare is fantastic as
well. Oh yeah, he's super that way. So nothing but good news from me. Ford Dog, good morning, Mr. Coop, Mr. Schneider, waiting on the Misty dividend with the rest of y'all. Yeah, I'm betting $1.40.
That would be good too.
Even at that, everybody should be happy for the return.
I say a 130 to 150, and if it's 130, I'm going to be very happy because they could have paid out, you know, 111 or 99 cents, whatever. If they give you 30% on top of it, I'm thinking you got a good bonus, and everybody should be happy with that.
I'll just say one thing going forward, guys. You know, Misty, a lot of us are in it because of obviously past history. You know, geez, look at the payouts. It's fantastic. So we're in there. But don't necessarily expect that to be the same level going forward. And part of the reason is the volatility is slowly coming down on MicroStrategy as it is on Bitcoin, guys. So when there's less volatility, there's less option premiums, meaning they're making less money. I think we've experienced that with them the last few months. You know, on the $1.30, $1.37 payments, you know, 2 something last month. But so going forward, yeah, you probably should expect a little less per month on the distributions. Now, having said that, when you add it all up, it's still a phenomenal rate of return compared to anything else on the market. So look to that necessarily. You know, monitor your share price. Like I said, if it's below my average cost, I'm in a little over $23. I'll be dollar cost averaging my share price down. If it's over that, when it's, you know, next week, I doubt it will be, but if it was, then I would look at all the alternatives. But anyways, yeah, prepare yourself going forward for a little less, maybe. Live and Earn with Mike. The Bitcoin conference was just in Vegas. Heard it was a real dud. Mr. Saylor said Bitcoin will be 1 million in 10 years. I think it'll be less than 10 years.
I think it'll be less than half of that.
Yeah.
I think by 2030, you know, Bitcoin's going to be at that $1 million figure.
Well, everyone has an opinion, and people say, well, who the hell can tell that? But when you stop and just sit back and look at all the demand that is coming in, you know, you've got sovereign wealth funds, you've got countries setting up reserves now, like Pakistan, like out of the blue. Yeah, we think we need well, sure, but it's just the start. It's the tip of the iceberg. The ball is now rolling downhill. The demand for Bitcoin is going to go through the roof, and I think you'll see these spike in prices like shortly. Well, it might be this month, but definitely I think by the end of the year, Coop, we'll definitely see a 50 to 100% increase in price. And then the more the more demand there is, the more there will come. Because, if the US adopts a Bitcoin reserve, you better believe every country on the planet's going to be, Jesus, we better get on that bandwagon.
Exactly.
So yeah, just
watch this space.
Yep. Johnny Montana, on Wednesday night about 6:30 p.m., we will know what Misty is going to pay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not sure exact time that they announced.
I think it's 5:55.
Our time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they announced it. Which I think is 5:55 in the AM back in, wherever in New York. I don't know. Jack Bree, Tony, is that Thai time?
Yeah, that would be Thai time.
It'll come on X pretty quick. Kenny Beck, not your keys, not your crypto. Yes, you are correct. Talking about the self-custody. If it's so great, why is approximately 4 million Bitcoin lost? Yeah, 4 to 5 million. So
yeah, people lost their keys. People lost their hard drives, lost their phones, whatever device they were storing it on. And that's something that you got to take into account, 4 to 5 million Bitcoin lost forever. Nobody will ever get their keys back. And I just don't want to take that risk. I'd rather it be in the ETFs and I don't have to worry about it. If I lose my password, I can contact my brokerage account and they can reset up a new password for me. Whatever, my phone gets waterlogged and I can't log in anymore. I can always log in on my laptop, my tablet, all that sort of stuff, and do my 3-factor identification. So to me, that's the safest avenue of investing into the crypto market and keeping my assets safe.
There has been people that probably were into Bitcoin under $1, maybe $1, about 100 coins, $100, put it away,
and forgot about
it.
Yeah,
don't even remember the keys. Where the Christ now? Holy shit! I think I had some Bitcoin.
Yeah,
where good luck. Oh, they find the stick that it's on, like the
thumb drive,
and oh shit, what are the keys? Oh Christ, where did I put that? You know what I mean? You talk about panicking, but who knew?
Exactly. Nobody knew the writing on the wall back then.
Reverend Pierpont at Kenny Beck, that's the same as saying if your money isn't under your mattress but in a bank, instead it's not your money. Kind of dumb. Not your keys, not your.
A lot of old people did used to put money under their mattresses. They didn't trust the banks.
Or bury it.
Yeah. Or bury it in the backyard and then go out there and the termites have got it. Yeah.
El Primeo, loose lips sink ships. I dropped my phone. Oh. Yeah, best not to talk about your Bitcoin holdings. It's great to talk about Bitcoin, but people, you don't want to spread the word that you own 5 Bitcoin, 10, 20, whatever. It puts a target on you, as Coop said earlier on. So, yeah, it's okay to say people, yeah, I've got, I'm looking at it or whatever. But Richard Woolley, why has MST tanked so bad? That's the weekly payer, I believe, and or are you talking
MicroStrategy? I think he's talking about. Yeah.
Well, there is an MST that I believe is a weekly payer. Coop. I didn't know it tanked. I don't. It's not for me. Give it some track record. MSTR, if that's what you meant, Richard, let us know. As I said earlier, I believe it's supply and demand, and there's more supply coming on the market from sale or ATMing the stock. But keep in mind, he'll get $350 for a share of stock, turns around and buys Bitcoin. You and I, the amount of sats we get for that or amount of Bitcoin we get goes up and up and up. Okay, so it's a no-lose proposition.
We're paid interest in sats.
Yeah, and trust me, listen, as Bitcoin doubles, MicroStrategy will more than double. So you're actually, you're getting paid to wait. It's gonna. But if that's what you meant, and Richard Pierpoint says that Richard Woolley, you're new to the market, question mark, stocks go up, stocks go down. The market isn't great right now and may get worse, likely to get worse, in my opinion. Yeah, well, that's, you know, a drop in the market, you know, correction, they might call it, possibly a reset. You know, some people are thinking the whole financial system needs a reset, but, you know, when you understand what you own. So in other words, if you're in Bitcoin, you do your research Bitcoin so you understand it. The reason I say that, you sleep well at night. Price goes up, great. Price goes down, you don't panic. If anything, you buy more, you know.
Yeah.
Never sell your Bitcoin, sell a kidney, is the saying. Well, yeah, you know what I mean? So they do go up and down, but once you understand what you're in and you have conviction in it, and that comes from research, guys, strictly research, get conviction, you will sleep good at night. You don't worry so much about the volatility. You know where it's going to end up, okay, which is up and to the right. So short term, yeah, anything can happen, but yeah, it's nothing. And we sleep good at night. I do. And I know where Tesla's going. You know, talk about Bitcoin first. Now Tesla, they're gonna own the EV market. They're gonna own the robo-taxi market. They're gonna own the humanoid robot market. That stock's gonna do a 10 or 20x within 5 years. So, anyways, I sleep good at night knowing that.
Yeah.
Don Delonic, Mr. XRP, guys. Good morning, Cooper, Brooke, and Darlene. Beautiful day at District Grand Park 2. We call that Coopersville. Yes, it is. They are remodeling the steam room, sauna, bath, and showers. Yeah, it's a good idea. They're well used. You know, people like it. Cooper and Brooke need to maintain that 5-star condo. Correctamundo.
You know, you're our neighbor. You live here too. Yeah. I do like what Dusa Group are doing. They're staying on top of it, you know, and you know, that just goes to show that you're living in a quality area. I see condo complexes, you know, that are run down and they don't do nothing. They don't put any money back into it to, you know, keep its beauty, its attraction. But the Dusa Group, I do. They're always doing something to keep it looking super fantastic.
They've got a good name.
Yes.
They've got
good reputation.
Yeah, good reputation. They're, you know, this ain't their first rodeo.
No, they own over 12 here
of these high-rise unit complexes, call it. So they know what they're doing. And yeah, they're good people, good to deal with. As you said, they maintain their properties, which I like. Friendly. Yeah, so I have no issue. I renewed May 1st for another year. I'm happy I did. We're finding a lot of people wanting to get into Dusit, I think because of Coopersville. And, you know, they're first timers in Thailand. Oh, I want to be around people with similar interests, similar idea, and friendly face, smiling. And, you know, if you're able to get in, good. On the downside, because you've generated so many people, I think, what are we, 50 or 60 here now? You know, the prices have gone slightly up, I think, where I don't think they should have because there's so much available elsewhere. And I said that to Joe. I said, Joe, Cooper's got you so many customers here. You're raising the damn prices. That ain't right, Joe. And anyway, he did give the guy a break.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So at least he listens.
Yeah. Good guy.
LV 5150. I think the day of self custody is much different in this day and age. I think with it being much more acceptable, moving to an ETF makes more sense for many positive reasons. Yeah.
And I agree with that, Las Vegas, because like I said, it's the safety aspect. I feel much better sleeping at night, knowing that, you know, my stock is protected against, you know, could somebody hack my keys? You know, if I have it in a cold wallet, you know, is that cold wallet going to get hacked? You know, and, you know, just look at FTX, you know.
You get in a bad accident, plane crash,
anything can happen.
Where, yeah, with ETFs, your state, you didn't lose a dime, you know. Here's what happened. Believe it or not, when the ETFs were first on the market,
January last year.
Yeah, a lot of people took their self-custody coins, sold them, and bought the ETFs.
Yes.
You see what I mean? So even they kind of realize, oh shit, the ETFs are better
Mm.
because I don't got to worry about the phrases and something happening to me and losing things and hacking and that's
And
why.
the good news is that the new head of the SEC is looking into making the crypto market available on the stock exchange 24/7.
That'd be nice.
So that'll be fantastic too, because Bitcoin and crypto does not stop. It trades 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So they're looking at making it the same.
Yeah.
For crypto.
Now, little heads up here. Have good friends that had issues in Australia getting into Bitcoin, and
and England too.
And well, I'll get that. So stake was the product they found in Australia. If you're Australian looking at this, that they're able to do this with. They apparently still have to negotiate with their bank for their money, but you're able to purchase and buy what we're discussing here through stake in Australia. Now, England, in my opinion, was even worse than Australia. There was quite a time when they wouldn't even let their people into crypto, let alone Bitcoin or any of the so-called shares. And but now they've like one of our good friends here went through Schwab, another one IBKR, and they were able to purchase it. The key was, though, if they identified, so you upload your passport, British passport. Okay, they got that. If you said, hey, I'm a resident of England, you were barred. You couldn't buy shit.
No.
But when you change that little box to resident of Thailand, which in reality you are if you're here for a year, at least for the address, you still file your British taxes. It's still considered your home country. But where's your residence currently? I'm in Thailand. They were able to buy.
Yeah.
So that was the difference. And boy, you talk about, oh, thank God, our friends could actually participate. So.
And they can get MSTY now here in Thailand.
Yep.
Yeah. So
good
they're
news.
Very happy.
Little tip there for you. Richard Woolley. Robert, thanks to this channel, I'm now all in on MSTY and a little Coney and a little LT just the last 2 months. Okay. Well, Richard then is getting a check. He'll be getting his check every month. Richard's decided, hey, this is paying me better than GICs in the bank.
Exactly.
So, and these other dividend payers, at their 5 to 7 to 8%. Okay, you're hoping for growth and a check, but check's not much. Where you can get, 5, 6, 7, 10% per month on your money, not in a year, per month. That's why they're loving it. So. Yeah. Good on you, Richard.
And I know a lot of people that have bought into MSTY, and they're looking at some of the other ETFs, and they're saying, okay, I'm going to take some of my dividends and I'm going to buy into the other ones, such as PLTY or Coney or Tesla, and to diversify and build those bags too.
Yeah, do your research on that. First off, it's a good idea to be somewhat diversified. The other benefit is if you're in like 3, like Richard is, there's a good chance you'll get a check every week for 3 weeks, in a month, right? Not always. It might be double up in 1 month or 1 week if it's the same payday. But so a little bit of diversification, but you definitely want to understand the stock. For me, I got to believe in the underlying stock first. Well, I believe in Bitcoin, that's based MicroStrategy, which is based MSTY. I believe in Tesla, Tesla is based on Tesla. So you got to believe in the stock when it comes to my idea on what I would diversify into. I looked at Coney. I didn't really look at LT, but the two for me right now are MSTY and Tesla, and maybe there'll be a third down the road. We'll see. Like Sir Drowns, Palantir has numerous contracts with the U.S. military, correct. Stock has been trending up while MicroStrategy has been trending down, correct, over the last few weeks. Personally, I see the potential for a high dividend and growth. He's talking about Palantir or PLTY. PLTY. That very well might happen, Blakester. For me, with MicroStrategy and MSTY, I know where Bitcoin's going. Consequently, I know where MicroStrategy is going. How high and how much MSTY will go up, I'm not so sure. I don't think it'll be one-on-one, but they'll definitely pay a check every month.
Yeah.
There'll be volatility. I suspect it might even go up to volatility once, you know, things skyrocket. But Palantir, a lot of people swear by it. They've done well with it. The stock has done well. As Coop said earlier, I think the shares are at 60, high 60s,
Mid 60s.
mid 60s. That's a lot. You know, you're talking 7,000 for only 100 shares. Now the payouts are higher too, so you know it's relative. But I would want to analyze that stock a lot more. I always, part of what I look at, hey, what's the lowest stock price it's been? What's the high? And I prefer buying something, and share price I'm talking, when it's towards the lower end of the market. You know, you got 14 months of history. I think the low was around 18. It's at 21. Hey, that's not too bad. You know what I mean? It's got a support level there. If it's at 32, Jesus, I don't know, 18 low, 42 high, it's at 32. That's a little bit rich. Maybe I'm going to wait and see, wait for it to come down. So you got to kind of look at that. When I see PLTY at 60 in the 60s, I don't know, I think the low was 40s something. So it you know, would have a way to come down. Now, if it did come down to that 40s, then maybe you do look at it. But
yeah. Now, here's my thoughts, Blakester. I've been a defense contractor for the U.S. government for over 20 years. And during that time, my job never changed. I was always in logistics, and I was always heading my own department. But what did change was the amount of defense companies that I worked for. And over a 20-year period, I'd worked for over 8 different companies. And because one company would come in, they'd underbid the next company, and every 2 to 4 years, they would give the contracts to a different company. So when I started out, I was working for the largest defense company on the planet, which was Halliburton. Halliburton is not even in the top 5 anymore. So it just goes to show you defense contracts can be awarded and they can be taken away like that. They really can. And when I was in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Kuwait, the companies kept changing, but they always took on the incumbent worker because you were the qualified person on the ground. They want to keep you. So, you know, 1 week you're working for a company called, 1 year you're working for a company called Vectrus. The next year you're working for a company called ITT. Next year you're working for a company called Amentum, and so forth. And it just constantly changed. And that's why I'm sort of a little bit skeptical on Palantir. They are a defense contractor and a defense company, and they can change them out at any time and put somebody else in place. And there's hundreds of defense contracting companies out there. So just bear that in mind when you're looking at a stock to get into.
Yeah. Do your research. Thai Bob, can I use my MSTY dividend for my financial requirements of the Thai retirement visa?
Yes, you can, because it's an income. But for your Thai retirement visa, you have to show a year's worth of income and prove it. So what they like to see is a year's worth of Thai income into your Thai bank account. So that's one thing that they like. When you come out to Thailand and you want to get a retirement visa, for the first one, they won't give you the income based. They can do that on the second year and after inside Thailand. Outside Thailand, you can do it. You have to do it through the Thai embassy or consulate where you live and show them this is my income for the last year. They want to see the last 12 months of income to do the income-based retirement visa.
For me, I go to a guy like Singh and just say, hey, what are you going to charge me to do all this paperwork? You know, which is in Thai, by the way. And I'm happy to pay the fee.
Yeah.
So, and then it's done right. I don't have to sit in lineups. I don't have to, I mean, he took me to the bank, opened the account, have a seat. You know, 15 minutes later, we're walking out with my passbook and I didn't even have to do anything.
And your ATM card.
And the ATM card.
You get that on the same day too.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just when you use an agent, for example, like we did with Singh, your worries are over. And nice thing with Singh, if he says he can do it, he gets it done.
Yes.
And if it can't be done, he'll tell you that. You know, he won't waste your money.
Exactly.
Flex your drums in share price, just my opinion. He's talking before that.
Yeah.
Robert Nutt, do y'all have a group that meets up at Dusit to travel to Route 66?
Not a group as such, Robert. What we do is people pile into my car, and when that's full, that's full. But other people will get a bolt out there,
Take their bikes, maybe
take their bikes
cars,
out there, or
whatever.
car,
Yeah.
and meets up at Route 66. And we will be there today after the live stream. We've got about 20 minutes to go left on the live stream, and then we'll be logging off and getting ready for our brunch at Route 66 today.
Yeah, we're
11 o'clock.
usually 11 o'clock. We tell people,
Yeah.
and I love it. The coffee's free and unlimited. So, bingo. You know,
Yeah.
it's the first place I found in Thailand does that with their breakfast. Right?
Exactly.
And it's good food. Oh, yeah, it's great food.
Fantastic.
Robert Pierpont at Richard Woolley. Yeah, the only thing I hold right now is MSTY. Well, I also have 100 shares of ours. Never heard of that, but that was like $200 a month, or $200 worth. Sorry. Otherwise, I'm in options only. This market is too sketchy for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, options only. You want to be careful on that because you get time decay, and if you guess it right, the right movement, you win big, and if you guess wrong, well, you lose big money. Because it's time decay. Yeah,
MSTY is a fantastic way to go, and it's been trading since February of last year. So it's got the history behind it.
Got a track record.
It's got a track record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don Delonic, Mr. XRP, stay away from Coinbase. Okay, hacked 4 months ago and did not tell anyone.
Yes.
I've heard some sketchy things about Coinbase.
Yeah.
I agree with Donnie. All their information was stolen. So there you go. Phishing has taken billions from people. Stay with BlackRock and Fidelity for Bitcoin. Yeah, he's got a good point there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be trusted. Richard Woolley, thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up. Make Darlene smile.
If you're watching the live stream, hit the thumbs up. It's free. It doesn't cost a penny.
Jeff Trio, evening, guys. Evening, Jeff.
Evening, Jeff. 98 people online watching. Thank you to the 98 people.
Robert Pierpont, the calculations say for MSTY to get back to $30, MicroStrategy would have to nearly, if not double, its current price. I can see that happening.
I can, easy.
Yeah, yeah. And
I can see MicroStrategy hitting $1,000 this year.
Oh, yeah, like
a share. And then doing a 10-for-1 stock split like they did last year.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was buying micro at under 200, and that's before the 10-for-1 split. So, but I noticed around 1,200, 1,000, 1,200 is the rumors came out, and they did a split. I think it was 12 and change, but 10-for-1, and I can see that happening again.
I can,
and I believe it, guys. It'll be the same with Tesla going forward. There'll be stock splits as there was with Nvidia and Amazon over the years and Apple over the years. So stock price gets to a point where they decide, hey, to split it. Roger Walker, what do you think about SMCY?
Don't really know a lot about it.
No. Retire on dividends. Follow that guy. He does talk about that. But I'm not sure even the underlying stock on that. So, yeah, it's not one I research, Roger. If there's enough interest from a lot of people, then we would. But,
yeah, See, what I tend to look at, Roger, is I look at their assets under management. And MSTY has $4 billion, $4.1 billion asset under management. You look at some of these other ones, they only have like 100 million, 200 million, and a little bit more riskier, in my opinion. So I like to go with the big boys that got a proven track record. And when you've got that amount of money, invested in the company, as a lot of top investors will tell you, no company with over 2 billion in asset under management has ever failed.
It's not going to fail. It's well, what kind of money we're going to make?
Exactly.
And again, guys, it's a stock. MSTY's a stock. You look at, I want my monthly check.
Yes.
Don't necessarily look at the share price because it will be volatile. It'll track, in my opinion. Although I think it's still a good entry on MSTY. You had 21, 22. It's probably still a good entry considering your downside is 18. They got a lot of buying support at that. Geez, we knew guys that were buying tens of thousands of shares of MSTY at 18.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So you do have support at certain prices. It's not a growth stock. So don't figure on your stock doubling in price, guys. To me, what you want to figure on is I want a monthly check. So if you're looking for supplement your monthly income, that's the way to go. If you're talking about growth, hey, what 5 years down the road, I want to be okay. Well, if you can live on your monthly check and then put into maybe Bitcoin or MicroStrategy or Tesla, that's your growth stocks going forward, guys. You can see a 5 or 10x in that. Like Coop's going to buy his big mansion here in Thailand when Bitcoin does a 10x. You know,
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Just my opinion. Taylor posted his Bitcoin tracker, so another announcement of another purchase Monday, America time.
Yes, he did.
Sailor, he meant that.
Yeah.
Sailor posted. Yeah, we got you, Justin.
Yeah, he says it there. Sailor announced. Autocorrect annoys me.
Yeah,
I hate that too. And he did. He made another announcement on X last night that he is going to be. He's bought more Bitcoin, and he will announce how much. He's already bought it. It was, and what the price paid tonight before the stock market opens Thai time.
Yeah,
tomorrow morning for USA.
I just want to say this with MicroStrategy. There seemed to be an opinion I mentioned earlier. Oh, geez, Micro's always down. Why is he always issuing stock? Well, guys, part of the reason the price is down is because he's obviously issuing stock, but he's not spending it on vacations, you know,
or a new yacht for the company.
Or a new yacht for the company. No, he's buying Bitcoin. And so he's a smart guy because, hey, you know, the first to the well, you know, get as much as you can. You know, if you can print this paper money and buy Bitcoin, you're going to win in the long run. And people are starting to copy him now. I mean,
21 shares.
Yeah, a whack of companies, GameStop. You just watch the reports every week, Coop. There's new ones trying to do what Sailor's doing. Well, good luck. You know,
they're too late to the
game. They'll get their 100 coins or maybe 1,000 if they get real good at it, you know, but he's over 500,000.
Yeah.
And there's only that probably 15 million ever be available to market should you want. The rest are Gandhi. He's going to be the big fish in the pond.
Yes.
So that MicroStrategy price will skyrocket because Bitcoin goes up 10x. Guess what? Those coins he owns goes up 10x.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? He was buying them at 300 with our shares, guys, and you know they're probably worth 3,000 a share by that time. So yeah, bingo. Don't worry about it. Buy and hold. David Lowe, I click the like button, always gets someone smiling, and I think it's a great return on investment. It is. Doesn't cost you a penny. Keep up the great community. Go Cards.
Yeah. And thank you, David. And thank you to the community that's watching. Our YouTube segment on Money Matters has grown, like we said in the beginning of the live stream, from only a couple hundred watching to over 1,000 watching this live stream. So we get the results.
The video.
Yeah, we get the results from this live stream in a couple of days' time. And the last live stream that we did on Money Matters generated 1,000 views. Nice. So thank you to all of you that come on. And it seems like MSTY is a firm favorite with everybody. Everybody's liking that extra dividend. Why? Because we're all retirees or future or very soon to be retirees looking to stay out in the land of smiles here in Thailand. And we want to boost our income as much as we can. Some of our subscribers come from countries where they're only getting $500 a month. U.S. equivalent in pensions, old age pensions, and it's not a lot, and you're going to struggle to live here in Thailand on that. But they're saying that, hey, I can put my savings into MSTY, get a dividend payment every month, and guess what? I'm now getting triple that. So their 500 goes to 1,500 a month, and they're living the good life.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's the way to look at it. And we're just a couple of old guys, retirees, that are interested in making money and enjoying our life here in Thailand. And so are you. So fantastic that everybody's come on and joined us on this segment.
I'll call you an old timer.
You're still older than me, whichever way you look at it.
Johnny Pulo, so say Johnny from Australia. Good day, ladies and gents, and stooges and malakas. Hope everyone is well. Johnny's, by the way, one of the 3 stooges that are here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's the other 2?
Montana, me, and Johnny.
Okay.
The 3 stooges. That's when we're in the pool. Johnny says my prediction is $1.39. Well, he's pretty specific. Good on you,
Yeah,
Johnny.
that's a good prediction.
Yeah.
We'll see on Wednesday who is right and who is wrong. I'm still predicting between the 130 to 150, and I had a bet with Mr. Schneider here, and he said that it's not going to be below $2. He's saying at $2 and above, and whoever loses has to buy the other one, unlimited coffee, at Route 66. So you pay for one cup and it's unlimited after that.
Bingo.
Yeah. So just a gentleman's bet, couple dollars. That's it.
Mike D. Brooke said 175 per share from MSTY. I think that was a fair estimate, but hey, it's a win with $1.30 also. Damn good payout.
It is.
Mike's got a good point, because if you do $1.30 at 12, you're like $15 more, and the shares at 20. Well, hello, that's almost your money back in a year.
Exactly.
Better than the bank.
Roger
interest.
Walker says MSTY at 240.
Whoa,
Roger's
Roger's
that's
on
a
the
big
high
prediction there, Roger. I would be over the moon if it was
There'll be
at
people
240.
jumping up and down in the pool if that's 240.
If it's 240, I'm booking another cruise ship.
Bingo. Robert Pierpont, I can't see them paying around $2 because they want to keep the net asset value up. $2 payment is too much NAV erosion. Means that, it comes out of their cash, drops the share price. Right. $1.30 would be better. Meaning when you pay closer to what you make, which is probably the $1.30, you're not affecting your, let's say, bank. You keep money in the bank for a rainy day. You can pull it out if it's needed. And if at $1.30, you're probably not pulling any of the bank out.
No.
Now, if they do that, guys, and they're probably waiting, okay, we're going to have big payments at October. We're going to really put the market on notice by, putting out maybe
$5 a share.
Yeah,
in
or
October.
four, even another 4. Whew, that's 20% on your money.
Yeah.
And that'd be something. So maybe that's the idea. Well, time will tell. The reason I went with 2 or above, guys, is that the ball is rolling. People are talking about MSTY. People are getting into MSTY. When you keep that ball rolling like that, you're going to get even more people coming in, so maybe that's their philosophy. Time will tell.
And that's why, Robert and everybody else watching, you'll see MSTY will do a share unlock every week. And they're at the moment unlocking about 1 million shares per week, because the interest in MSTY is getting recognized and it's just going up, and more people want shares. So they're unlocking more shares for people to buy into it. They want to keep that interest up. The NAV is not too important to look at. It's the underlying premium they're paying every month. The more that they're paying in premium, the more it's going to get traction, the faster people are going to want to get into it. And that NAV will go back up with that. So I would say 150 would be my final estimate. I'm going to go with the top of the range and say 150.
Okay, good for you.
Yeah.
Just net asset value. It pretty well tracks, the value on the books, so to speak, what they're making. Don't worry about this shares going out every week, people getting into it. It doesn't dilute, in my opinion, what we own. It just gives them that extra money from the share sale to buy more options.
Yeah.
So they're able to do more. They're more versatile with what ways to make the money. And anyways, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. And it has grown so much, guys. It's their biggest fund by far. I mean, I think it's at least a double to triple what the next closest one is, meaning they're focused on MSTY. Hey, you better believe it. That's a moneymaker for that company.
That's our winning horse.
That's the winning horse in the race. You know what you do with them?
You look after them,
feed them, and treat them good. Don Delana, I sit in amazement that after 2 months in MSTY, I make way more than my $3,000 in monthly Social Security I had to work 50 plus years for. And I get another welfare check in 4 days.
The MSTY welfare check.
He calls it the MSTY welfare check. Yes.
Yeah.
Good on you, Donnie.
Well done, Donnie.
Mike D, I bought about 50 Bitcoin when it first came out, and we had those long codes that had to be written down and kept in a safe place. I moved like 2 times and forgot where I put that paper. Oh my God.
That
Yeah.
would be $5 million at today's market value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's well, Makey, I don't know. Maybe you'll find it. Jeff Sigler, my prediction is $1.65 because they still want to keep it around 100% yield.
I'm
Good on
thinking
you.
about 80% yield for this one is what I'm thinking. So 150, possibly hit your target of 175, and that would put you between the 70 to 80% yield for the month.
Listen, regardless what it is, people are going to be happy, especially if they look at what does that equate to over a year.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like returns are phenomenal. So, Blakester Drums, I'm okay with a conservative payout this month with tariffs still up in the stratosphere. Got to protect that net asset value. Yes. Typically, whatever they pay out, guys, reduces the share price immediately. You know, the net asset value because they've given away the money, you know, out of the company. It's not there anymore. So I understand that, Bob. Ty Bob, is the double payment for Misty in August real?
Yes.
It's every 4 weeks, Ty Bob. So it just so happens in August, there happens to fall 2 pay dates.
Yes.
And it's listed on their website. So yes, it is real.
Yeah. So you will get 2 payments, one in the beginning of August and one at the end of August. Yeah. Whoops. There we go. Where's it gone? There it is.
Johnny Poulos. So say, Johnny, can you see Tesla overtaking Misty one day?
Possibly.
Well, yeah, share price. I don't know about that. And return. Let's talk returns.
Okay.
They're close now. Misty's a little better, but yeah, I could see it. You know, depends if the volatility goes up more, which I don't know if that would happen with Tesla, but they'll both be solid plays. I mean, I'm looking at it and it's kind of 6 to 1, half dozen the other. I like both companies. And as I said earlier, so I get this dividend payment, and originally I thought, oh, I'll just buy more Misty. But then I'm thinking, well, hang on, if Misty's above what I paid, I don't want a dollar cost average up. I'll look for an alternative that I think is undervalued. And Tesla to me is a good buy. And the other point is I diversify a little more. Another point is I'd get 2 checks a month, not just one, you know, so that's kind of interesting. But Johnny, I think either one is good. For guys like you, maybe I'm going to do the same. Maybe we want a bit of both, you know. But anyways, we'll see how that pans out.
Yeah.
The key is the underlying stocks on both. I totally believe it. So they're not going anywhere. There'll always be premiums made.
Now, the one thing that can make Tesla overtake Misty is if Bitcoin goes into a bear market. At the end of this year, the bull market's over with and it goes into a bear market. Well, a lot of big people in the market and the know-how are saying they don't think there's going to be a bear market at the end of this year. They think the bull run is here to stay. And that's something that we're going to touch on next Monday's live stream. And I'll go into the details why. I'm going to put up some spreadsheets so y'all be able to see them, what these market makers are predicting and where they see the future of Bitcoin going. And it's very, very good news. So I think you guys will like watching next Monday's live stream.
Yeah, typically, I think the bear markets were a 70% pullback. That's quite a lot. I don't think we're going to see a bear market like that again.
No.
Because there is so much adoption occurring. And I think the adoption's only going to grow the rest of the year. So, and then James Invest Answers had a point. He says, yeah, next bear market, maybe it's at $1.50, pulls back 30% to 100. You know, that's your buying opportunity, right? That's your bear market, right? So I can kind of envision that more so than, you know, going from 100 to 30,000 on the 70% pullback bear market. It ain't going to happen. So,
yeah. So stay tuned for next Monday's live stream.
Roger Walker, I'm like Brooke. That payout every month is good.
Ditto.
Misty's welfare check. Robert Pierpont at Ty Bob. Misty pays every 4 weeks. That's 13 payments a year. So yes, it is real for August, guys.
Yeah.
Extra drums. Anyone looking to diversify your ETFs? A couple new ones from Bitwise, IMRA, 933 dividend, and IMIST, 701. The thing, guys, and by all means, take a look what Breakster if you're so interested. But any new products, I want to just have a wait and see attitude.
Yeah.
It's like my granddad said, hey, you never buy a new car first year it's out, because what about the bugs? Let them iron out the bugs. Maybe the second, third year is better to get. And it made sense when he said that. Oh, look at that new car. It looks good. Yeah, but hang on.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like these stocks. Maybe you want to get a bit of a track record, see how they're doing.
Well, I mean, you think about it, Blakester. When MSTY started, it was over $40 a share. Now look at it; it's 21. So you're going to get people initially want to get into it, but they're going to be buying the share price high, and they may not see those levels again for several years. So I always say, wait, let the share price go down, and then look at getting into it. See what the dividend payments
might have
are.
been Tesla was 40. I think the issue price in MSTY was 20, but I'd have to go back and check that.
Yeah, I think the high was 40.
Oh, the high was
43.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
No, the high was definitely.
That's when the hype got into it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, take a look at it. Do your research, guys. As always on the channel, we always say that this is not financial advice.
No, it's not. It's just a couple old timers here shooting the S and talking about future wealth and how we can build our bags.
Light Eye, Brooke, wouldn't MSTE, that's the Harvest Canadian one, I guess, be better for Canadians TFSA than MSTY Yield Max because no U.S. withholding tax? Okay, Flight Eye's brought up a good point. If you're into those funds, Harvest, the Canadian edition, you're not paying a withholding tax.
Okay.
But I took a look, Flight Eye, at say, hey, do I want this MS, the Canadian ones, or stick with the US? And from what I gathered, I'm still better off paying the 15% in the US fund. So I keep a US TFSA account. It's in US dollars. I own MSTY in that. Sure, they take the 15% withholding before I even get my welfare check, but it goes into my TFSA in US dollars. Then I pull out the 85% that I got if I want to.
Yeah.
So you take a look at that, Flight Eye. It's not necessarily the 15%. How much in total am I left with? And I found that with the Canadian funds, they were paying less, percentage wise.
Yeah.
No tax, but percentage wise. So even at 85% US payment, I'm getting better. I'm getting farther ahead with that.
So you're making more money by doing the US one rather than Canadian.
Yeah.
Even with the 15%
correct.
tax deduction.
Correctamundo.
There you go.
You, sir, are correct. Roger Lay. Hey, CBD and gang, back in Phoenix now, taking care of business. Good. I banked a bunch of MSTY, Tesla, and Bitcoin. Well done, Roger.
Well done.
Roger the Dodger. I say MSTY will pay $1.66.
Wow.
Good estimate. Just based on my personal needs. Well, wouldn't that be
my
great?
My personal needs would
absolutely right. You'd be a tickle camper.
My personal needs will be $1 million payout per share. Then I'll be living the life of Riley.
Terry Fallon from Bancroft. Hello, Coop and Brooke. I just popped on to say hi, you guys, and wish you a great week. Terry, get your Bitcoin.
And thank you, Terry. And have a great week.
Terry Fallon. And hello to my fellow Ontarian, Alpha Romeo. Yes, out of Stony Creek. Roger Lay. Hey, CBD and gang. Oh, yeah, we got that one already. Coop, thank you.
Yeah, okay, it's repeated.
Ambient Outpost. What are the risks associated with MSTY? How do they generate such good returns?
Go ahead.
Ambient. Bubba told me this, so thanks. Hats off to Bubba. We all should be buying Bubba a bottle of water when he gets here. But no, he said in the pool one time about we were talking about investments, and I got all my money in Yield Max. Really, what's that? Oh, well, they pay these monthly checks. Oh, okay. Well, what's that work out to be? Oh, anywhere from 8 to 10% a month. You mean a year? No, a month. I said, well, that's got to be a scam. You know what I mean? Well, take a look at it, Brooke. And as the wise advice is, yeah, you should, take a look before you comment. And because I had never heard of this, assumed it was a scam. So I did the research, looked into the history. Okay, well, they do have a history of paying this, but how are they making the money to pay this? And then I started digging deeper and deeper and deeper, and you find out it's based on volatility, playing the option markets to generate income. So ambient, that's exactly what they do. At that time, for the last 12 months, say 14, MicroStrategy has had a fantastic implied volatility. In other words, it was probably the most volatile stock on the market. Why? Well, Bitcoin's volatile. So MicroStrategy tracks that. In some cases, a little more, a little less. But yeah, so the volatility's there. Okay, so how do they make money? Well, volatility generates premium income on options. And so then you definitely it's there. But you have to have guys that are sharp in what they do. You know, are they losing money trading these options or making it? Well, these boys been in it 40 years. They know how to make the money, and they have consistently. So they're generating it through selling calls, buying calls, synthetic calls, puts are involved, and it's quite complicated for a newbie. But I understood after a lot of research how they do it. They've been consistent in doing this, and that's why they've consistently paid out. So that's how they generate the good returns. Now, what do I see happening? You've seen a slow decrease in volatility as assets become more mature. So part of that is Bitcoin becoming more mature. MicroStrategy is now owned by sovereign wealth funds on the planet. BlackRock, Fidelity, even Vanguard, who won't let people buy Bitcoin, own it. You know, it's a Bitcoin company, guys. So there you go. Talk about two-face. But volatility has slowly been coming down as the market matures. So these returns, and I said earlier, hey guys, maybe we're not going to see $3 and $4 returns on average. I think last year was $2.69 as an average payout. Maybe that's going to drop as an average payout. But what if it's only $1.75 as an average payout, guys? Oh my God, that's down 30%. Well, so what? You're still making $20 on a $21 share. Say you're making 100% on your money in a year. Pretty good. So ambient to the average guy, it looks unbelievable. It looks, how can they do this? But again, as you research it, you understand how they make the money. And when you understand that, you sleep easy. You know, the question you'll have each month is, do I buy more shares or not?
Yes. You know? And they have over 40 years experience between them. So they're very good at what they do and a proven track record of doing it.
Yeah. Damien, El Gaucho is a chain neat to the one in Amsterdam, tied to the one maybe?
Maybe they need to be one in Amsterdam. I don't know. But El Gaucho is a restaurant chain, and it's in several countries around the world. Yes.
It is like, listen, I told Coop, he'll ask me every month, do I want to go? And I don't know, I don't think so. But twice a year I will. You know, it's that good. It ain't cheap. That's you know, but I'll tell you, it's the best steak you're going to eat. So yeah, you know, 2-3 times a year, I'll bite the bullet and just go. Yeah, it is that good.
Yeah, and we're getting close to wrapping the show up. We got 100 people online and only 57 likes. So pump those likes up. Let's see if we can get to 100 on our Money Matters live stream on Mondays. If we can, if you're watching on the replay, hit the thumbs up. It counts too.
Good. Scotty S. from Wahin. Greetings, poolside and Wahin. Good for you, Scotty. Or is it beachside or both? Probably both. W Secrets to Success. Hello, gents. Building my Yield Max portfolio across 5 different ETFs.
Wow.
He's looking for a check every week. I'll bet you any money. Holding around 3,300 shares. MSTY, Tesla are 2 of my positions. Goal is to get to 6,000 shares. Bingo.
There you go.
Well done on you. Yeah. So W, he likes to be diversified. He's probably looking at these ones that, you know, hey, this pays on this week of the month. This pays on that. Because there is people set it up, Coop, where they get a check every week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They have A, B, C, D, and there's a bunch of the ETFs in each of those categories. And A pays the same week of the month. B pays the same. So, you know, it's just in an order. So, yep. Good on you. Johnny Poulos, 96 watching, only 32 likes. Well, we're up from that, Johnny. Thanks a lot. Please hit that like button on your phone and make Darlene smile.
And on the TV.
And on the TV too. There's an
Yes,
idea.
please.
Never thought
Pound
of
it.
that.
Do it now because
Yeah.
we're about to finish this stream.
Tommy Lee, there's that big smile. Good morning, Cooper, Brooke, and Darlene. Hope everyone is doing well. Tommy the Tominator. Cooper is creating an inflation in Dusset, Grand Park 2, Coopersville. Johnny Poulos, Dusset Grand Park 2 needs to get new sun loungers or deck chairs. Yeah, they're getting kind of a little worn out. I need to work on my tan when I get there. Well, you'll do that. No problem, Johnny. Captain Action from Tampa, Henry. Cooper, Brooke, thank you for the great show. Well, thank you for showing up.
Thank you, Captain Action. Much appreciated.
Captain Action's 37 likes. Oh, yeah. So he's the same time. Hit that like button. That'll go up from there. David Pike. I have experimented with owning MSTY and shorting MSTR. Wow, you are a sharp guy. For example, 1,500 MSTY shares and short 50 to 60 MicroStrategy shares. This stabilizes your capital. However, you give up any upside on MSTY.
True.
Yeah.
And it's very risky too. You got to know what you're doing in that.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend shorting. MicroStrategy, honestly, it could go up 50% in a week.
Yes.
Possibly a double in 2 weeks or a month. And you wouldn't want to be caught offside on that because it's unlimited loss on a short. That stock can go to the moon and you're paying where, anyways. Patrick McCoy, good morning, CBD. Good morning.
Good morning, Patrick.
Travis, good morning, all. See you at Route 66. Oh, Travis,
okay.
Good man. Logan, hi, boys. Can you find me 2 amazing wives? Absolutely. Cooper,
one for the weekday,
that.
One for the weekends.
Yep.
There you go.
Glenn Shaw, good morning, guys. No matter what the distribution, I'm making bank.
There you go.
Good, Glenn. Logan, how can I make it from Seattle to Route 66 in 20 minutes?
You can't.
Time travel.
Yeah, time travel.
Maybe. Live and learn with Mike. Hit that like button.
Yes,
please. Smile. Robert, Brooke, Theta, aka Time Decay, is your friend with selling options. Correctamundo. I rarely buy options. I like being the casino, not being the gambler. Yeah, that's
selling options rather than buying them.
For you guys, and obviously Robert has, do your research on options before you participate, so you kind of understand the basics. You can start with selling calls against your stock. It's a pretty conservative way to invest. So yeah, anyways. Stocks, Bitcoins. Coinbase holds BlackRock's Bitcoin. You are correct. Hope they're very careful.
Well, BlackRock did announce that they're going to have a second holder of their Bitcoin. So they want to be diversified and not put all their eggs in one basket, which I think is great.
Yeah. Coinbase actually does the self-custody for all of the ETFs, save Fidelity.
Correct.
Fidelity does their own self-custody, guys, so you're aware. But BlackRock's thinking, well, we're getting big enough now. It's better to diversify. Yeah. Live and learn with Mike. Always a great live stream. Thanks.
Thanks, Mike.
Robert says, with the whole AI boom, stocks to look at are ones that provide the infrastructure to run AI. Energy to run it will be a big deal. Yeah, that's true. Equipment for data centers, also a big deal. Equipment meaning the, NVIDIAs of the world and that, the chip makers. So yeah, that's it's all part and parcel of, the future, and it's big. So,
and the future is coming very fast.
I just decided, guys, Robert, talking to you here as well, that my God, there's so much AI options out there. Who do you believe? But when you started looking at Tesla, it kind of does cover you in a lot of the AI options. And the one options they have with the robo-taxis next month, I think that's going to take off. And then the robots will be 2 or 3 years down the road, and it's going to take off even more so. Put it this way, I wouldn't want to be holding stock in Uber, Lyft. Waymo's owned by, I believe it's Alphabet, but yeah, so watch out. Chris Wheeler from Texas. Hey guys, gonna buy me a first-class seat on my way back with my MSTY payouts.
There you go. Why not?
Good
Treat
on you,
yourself.
Chris. Yeah. Logan C. What scenario makes MSTY fail?
If Bitcoin goes to zero.
Yeah, Bitcoin were to fail, obviously, then Micro would, fail. Misty would fail, but yeah, put it this way. I wouldn't say fail, Logan. I would say what would cause Misty maybe share price to drop significantly and or payouts to drop significantly. And to me, the only scenario would be if volatility, was cut in half or three quarters. Like, in other words, it became more like a Johnson and Johnson stock or a Berkshire stock where there was no volatility in the damn things. I don't see that happening. So, and I definitely don't think Bitcoin's ever going away. But yeah, like anything, there's always a risk of anything in life. You do your research, Logan, and then you determine your risk levels based on your research for that particular stock, whether you think it's worthwhile or not. But personally, we've done that, Coop.
Yes.
And we've decided, hey, it's well worth the limited risk, if any, versus the reward, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, Misty will still be here in 5 years' time.
Yeah,
During the next
belief.
bull run.
Yep. Glenn Shaw, good morning. You may have member number 62 soon. Okay.
Yeah, and I see that a lot in our Facebook group, Glenn. People saying, hey, I went to Coopersville and I spoke to Joe or Gina, and they got a 2-bedroom for me, and me and the wife are moving in. And I see that, and people saying, I went there and they didn't have a 2-bedroom. And then somebody else posts, I just came back from there. They got 2 more 2-bedrooms available.
You took mine.
So, yeah, they do have several 2-bedrooms and studios available here. Unfortunately, most of the 1-bedrooms are not available right now.
That's the popular one. But guys, put it this way. Start with a studio if you're single.
Get your foot in the door.
Get your foot in the door. And then you say to Joe, hey, Joe, first 1-bedroom comes up. Is it okay if I switch? Because, they're going to make more probably if you're renting from the developer. So typically he'll...
And you're a good tenant. Yes, he will look after you. And there you go. Stephen Boston says, hi, gang. Make that 63 soon.
Okay.
And 64. Sorry, I meant 64.
Richard Woolley, my credit union just fined me $5 for having a zero balance in a money market account. But I'm laughing because I put the money into Misty. If only they knew. Bastard.
Yeah.
Charging you for not having money in there. God. Doug Paris, my room at the Bangkok Hospital is nicer than my condo.
The rooms at Bangkok Hospital are fantastic. I've stayed there a couple of nights doing my procedure. My wife has. And they are very nice big rooms. I like the bathrooms too.
I was blown away.
Big and spacious.
How big they were.
Yeah.
Yeah. And pretty reasonably priced. LV says, if you weren't retiring and looking for that monthly check with Misty until, say, next April, is it smart to just have your distribution be reinvested to get a bigger check when you really want it? Well, yeah, it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's always good if you drip back into the stock. We call it dripping. There's a technical word. It's called dripping, and that's where you're taking your profits and you're putting them straight back into the same stock.
Yeah.
And boosting your share bag.
Especially since you don't need that, LV. If you're still working, then why not just build up your bag, so to speak, giving you a bigger check when you are retired. Now, whether you want to stay with Misty or in my case, maybe I'm looking at Tesla, take a look, make that call. So, yeah, but that's good. You got time. Mike D, seems like if you invest $1,000 at 80 cents a share in Tesla and get, say, 100 shares to round off, you're doing better than Misty at the same $1,000, even at 21 price per share. But it's a toss-up, both great. Well, that's kind of what I saw, Mike. So
yeah,
and maybe having a little diversification, meaning the 2 different payments, is not a bad idea.
Exactly.
2 checks a month. Damien, what are the fees on Misty? I heard they're upwards of 1%. Actually, you are correct, Damien. They're just slightly less at 0.99%. Now, to me and you, that doesn't seem like a lot, but it is. So they're making bank. These boys run on that. They don't want to kill the goose that lays the golden egg. They're gonna, keep an eye on Misty big time. And over time, 1%, believe it or not, does add up. Now, on the positive news, we get so much return. I'm happy to pay that fee. Now, that's 1% a year, guys.
Yeah,
not a month. If we're making 100% a year and they're making their 1, okay. Mind you, they make 1 on the whole volume. I only make my 100 on my shares. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
So it's a win-win for both.
Yeah. I don't mind paying a guy that makes money.
No.
You know, it's kind of like paying a salesman on commission. If he's, you know, making the money, he's earning the commission. Jack Bree, got my stake account up and running. Talking about the Aussies here. Wanting my membership in the Mafia in 3 weeks when I arrive. Well, you will get that. Okay.
Yeah. See you soon, Jack.
Yep. Philip Hunt, good morning, CBD and all. Still loving everything here in Jomtien. Yep. It's
Me
great
too.
here. Tommy Lee, have a great day, guys. Stay safe and healthy. Thanks for another great show. Thank you. CC Cube 13, saying good morning from O-Town, Florida. Good show. O-Town, never heard of that.
Yeah, and thank you, CC. Good morning to you too.
David Lowe, 74 likes and climbing. Okay,
yes, please.
good.
If you haven't hit the thumbs up yet, pound it right now. Free, doesn't cost you a penny.
Alpha Romeo, I'm hoping for a quick and small dip in the Bitcoin price to get more.
Well, Bitcoin is actually rebounding as we speak, Alpha. It went from 109 down to 103 and is currently sitting just over 105. So watch when the market opens tonight. You might see a nice spike upwards in Bitcoin.
Yep. Logan, thank you, moderator. Appreciate you.
And that'll be my wife who's in the room opposite, and she's watching the live stream and keeping all the bots off the channel and does a fantastic job at it. So thank you to my wife, Darlene. And the last comment goes to
LV. Thanks again for all your knowledge and wisdom, guys. Wishing you all a wonderful week ahead.
And thank you, LV, and to everybody watching, the 100 people on the live stream, and to the 900 people that'll be watching later. Thank you as well. Much appreciated. Let's see if we can keep this at 1,000 views per live stream on our Money Matters. That would be absolutely fantastic. And the Gormless Twit just came in with a last second comment.
Gormless Twit. Yield max ETFs generally underperform their underlying stocks on a total return basis. Then you have income tax to worry about on the divvies. 2, I'd rather DIY, do it yourself, selling covered calls at resistance areas. Okay, so he's got a specific plan. The thing is, Gormless, for the average guy here and probably in the market, they're better off letting somebody else handle it.
And just collect that money.
That's what MSTY does. Yeah, they just give me my check every month. Stock price can go up and down, but I just want my check.
Yeah, but if you're good at selling covered calls, my hat is off to you because I am not.
That's how I kind of lived for 2-3 years on the calls. But this way, I get a nice tax-free check because it's in my TFSA, and I don't have to necessarily worry about selling the calls.
Yeah,
you know, I'm making enough out of that.
You can relax. You don't have to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to time the stock market.
True.
Yeah.
But
and Alpha says, thanks again, boys. Thank you, Alpha. Thank you, everybody watching. If you hadn't yet, hit that thumbs up. Come on, make my wife smile. Do it for her. Until next time, wherever you are, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. God bless you all. And stay tuned.